What is going on, everybody? Kevin Calhoun here. Welcome to the Calhoun Show. It is Super Bowl week at last. Although it's a bummer because it means that football is nearing its end in the coming days. But we're here, we're podcasting, we're a day late, and I apologize for that. Wednesday kind of went crazy for me this week, so we're doing the podcast on a Thursday. It's actually wicked late now. It's almost 11 o'clock as I do the intro and the outro to the show. So coming up here on the podcast, Mr. Dan Condie was in studio at 4th and 1 Sports on Twitter. We were talking about the different angles of the Super Bowl, and we kind of joked in the beginning, you'll hear, about doing the typical, podcast or sports talk about, well, the offense versus the defensive matchup. It just kind of lines up. I don't care. Nobody cares. Like we can all hear that 18 times. The NFL Network has an 8.5-hour pregame show coming up this weekend. So there's plenty of time for that. So Dan brought in some hot takes and we did that. And then my sister Stephanie was on the phone as well. And she gave me some pointers and she schooled me in some knowledge about the halftime show this year and in past years. She had a theory about an 80s band-ish that could make an appearance. So that's the stuff coming up here on the show. So we are happy to be here. Again, sorry we're a day late. But as always, let's give a welcome home-ish edition of the Patty music. Here we go. It's the Calhoun Show. You can follow the show on Twitter at Calhoun Show and email the show calhounshow@gmail.com. You can follow me on Twitter at ShutUpCalhoun, like the show on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube. All of those things are listed at Calhoun Show as well. If you want, you can call and leave a voicemail. 860-740-2119 is the place to do that. And if you're not already, subscribe to the show on iTunes, Stitcher, or SoundCloud. And if you're on iTunes, leave us a nice little rating and a review. So, without any further ado, let's get this podcast started. Mr. Dan Condie, our Super Bowl preview. Enjoy.
The Calhoun Show.
Mr. Condie, Dan Condie, back on the show.
Back again. How you doing?
It's Super Bowl week.
That it is.
How could I not be good?
If the Patriots were in it again, but you know,
the Patriots.
Whatever, we're here.
All right. So this has been a really fun. Well, it's kind of been boring as far as like the lead up to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But it's kind of fun in New England because there's the question for non-Patriot fans. So you're a non-Patriot fan,
Right. Yep.
Do you root for the 5th Super Bowl, or do you want to see them lose, or do you actively want to see the Falcons win?
I view,
because those are the three
Patriots
options here.
Right. I view Tom Brady and the Patriots and their system and everything that they do in the same way I view the Spurs. I'm sick of them winning, but I can respect the fact that they continue to win. I mean, this is hands down the greatest dynasty. Alabama's making a case for themselves. You know, I think they might have solidified it if they had beaten Clemson, but you can't help but respect what Tom Brady does on the field. And if you switched out Aaron Rodgers for Tom Brady, I might cheer for the Patriots.
Okay, all right. It's funny because you were talking about the dynasty, and it's maybe Alabama rivals it, maybe they don't. I wish I remembered. In the last couple of days, I read something where it was another one of those articles where it's like, the upstart Oh, you know what it was? It was the Dan Quinn article. Mm-hmm. I was there's an article by Dan Wetzel on NFL.com.
Did you know my middle name is Wetzel?
No.
My name is Dan Wetzel Condie.
That's hilarious.
And I was on YouTube like 5 years ago,
Amazing.
and he wrote a college football article. And I was like, this son of a took my life. He took my life.
Everything you've ever wanted.
Yeah, Wetzel was my nickname in high school.
So you appreciated the story I told you about the article, but now you don't like it anymore because Dan Wetzel wrote it.
Good. He's great at his job.
So the article was about Dan Quinn.
Right.
I said Brady Quinn. The article was about Dan Quinn and how he shows boxing matches to the team on Fridays. It's a good article, and I would recommend going to read it. But he was making boxing analogies, and he's the parallel with this game. You know, the underdog, unheralded Falcons. And he had a term in there that made me reread it, and then it was so crazy to think about. He described the Patriots as the sort of defending champions. Like, they didn't win the Super Bowl,
They just
but it
skipped right over the Broncos.
But it feels that way.
Yeah, I mean, the
Like,
Broncos had to beat New England as the underdog,
For
weren't
sure.
they? I mean,
for sure. I don't think the point of it is
so-
to discount the Broncos, but the Patriots do feel like, you know, and we were talking about wrestling with Josh on the show, and then you and I were just talking a minute ago. Like, the Patriots have that John Cena feel to them. Like, there's no title belt around them, but it doesn't matter because it's still them.
Right.
You know what I
exactly.
mean? So the defending champ thing is weird because they're not, but they kind of feel
it's
that
like,
way.
how long has it been since The Rock held a title? But every time he steps foot, you know, under the Titantron, the place goes nuts. I mean, he is the people's champ. So,
All right, so I'm going to give you credit because you came
do
up
it.
with this concept.
Yeah.
So I was going to have Dan on, and we're, you know, Super Bowl prediction show.
Yeah.
And Dan texts.
but let's avoid.
Dan
you know,
he sends me a text and he's like, "Yeah, let's go. Let's not talk about. Well, the Patriots got a solid defense, and we'll see what the Falcons can do with the two-headed running back attack there. I don't know if Belichick and Brady, you know, how they are.
I mean,
in the
I know
Super Bowl.
nobody's talking about that at all.
You know how they do in the Super
guys
Bowl.
probably really are itching to hear that take from us of all people. But
So instead,
let's kick it up.
Instead, Dan has some hot takes, and I disagree with most of them. So we're going to discuss his hot
I
takes.
think I might disagree with one or two, but I'm gonna. You know what? I'm committed.
It's Kevin and Dan undisputed.
That's right.
With terrible viewership.
You decide who's skipped by the end of this. I think it'll be easy.
I think it'll be. Yeah,
All
I
right,
think
so
they'll figure
number
it out.
one, this is where I've settled because I've pictured different scenarios for how this game ends, final score wise, and who is going to win. And I'm going for a shootout. I'm thinking somewhere in the range of 35-31, 34-30, something like that. Well, I guess 34-30 wouldn't work, but anything over 65 points, but close. I think that the Patriots, in any scenario, win this game close. I don't know why, but I just have a gut feeling it'll be combined over 65 points from both teams.
Okay, that is a lot of points.
It's a lot of points.
It's a lot of points.
But when you hear it 35-31, does it surprise you as much?
No, because when you sent me 65, immediately I'm thinking, what does the
Blowout.
final score have to be? And when you
You're
settle
thinking
in
like
the 30s,
40-20.
when you settle in the 30s,
Yeah.
that makes sense, especially when you consider the fact that Atlanta's probably putting 30 points on the board.
Thank you.
That
So
would be
point to me, right?
But that's the popular notion. I disagree with it. I don't
Okay.
think Atlanta's scoring. I don't think either team's scoring 30.
Okay. So how do you see the game playing out then? Do you see Atlanta stopping New England?
I don't have the numbers in front of me. I
Okay.
should, but
Okay.
I've heard them recited in the past week.
Numbers.
In all of the Brady Super Bowls.
Yep.
I think the Patriots haven't had more than 3 points in the first quarter in any of them. They
Interesting.
don't.
This is their seventh
Yes.
with Belichick and
Brady. Yeah.
Okay, so law of averages, they're gonna have one. I mean, are you kidding me?
Maybe
7.
But they start slow
knows?
because they want to grind the first quarter and see what you're doing, and they whatever. It's how
They need to
how
tune
often
their binoculars just so they can see the twitch.
They have to find the signs.
my
They have to
gosh.
figure out who's sending the signs. No, but the point of it seems to be that, like, how often do you see a Patriots game where the first drive against them is like 6 plays, 80 yards, and a touchdown? It never happens.
No,
because their
but that's
game
what
plan,
you-
they're
that's what
ready for you.
happens.
But that's if Atlanta can, if Atlanta scores 7 on their first drive, which
Yeah.
they've done, I think 5 the last 6 weeks. Like, they just score on everybody. They just score first all the time. If they do that in this game, I agree with you. If they can get out to a high... If Atlanta has 14 points at the end of the first quarter,
Yep.
I don't care where the Patriots are, 65 points are getting scored.
So if you ask Dan Quinn if he wants to defer if he wins the coin toss, do you think he's deferring or do you think he's taking the ball?
I think you defer. I think
you
defer.
think Atlanta defers?
I think Atlanta defers because he knows that even if it's not something that he does wrong, the Patriots almost always win the last 2 minutes of the first half. Somehow they position themselves and they put something on the board.
Somehow it's Belichick's
but that's what I mean.
management.
But that's what I mean.
He just does
Dan
it
Quinn,
so well that it's just like.
But Quinn doesn't have to do anything wrong for that to happen. Belichick's probably just they're gonna find a field goal in the last 2 minutes of the first half. So you want to come out with the ball in the second half, no matter what. You want to have the ball to start the second half. If you're up 6 points at the start of the second half, now you're up 13. If you're down 6, now you're up a point. You know what I mean?
Think, given the fact they're playing the Patriots, getting a quick 7, or even just getting a long drive that ends in 7 to start the game 7-0, there's not a lot to be said for that?
I think
or just less so than
in the AFC, there wasn't really a team that had a terrible defense. There was a lot of mediocre ones. I think if they were playing
the Browns.
I don't know what they. Now this could be disproven just by what they did a week and a half ago. I don't remember what happened in the Packer game. But if they, I imagine if they won the coin toss in the Packer game, you want the ball. You just get the ball and go score 7 because it's the Packers defense and you're going to score 7. You're not guaranteed those 7 against the Patriots. So give yourself that second half possession.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I can see the wisdom in that. Yeah.
So
what do you see like final score wise? You think?
I see something in the range of 31-24, 27-21, 23-20.
One possession.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's a one possession game.
Agree.
If I were setting the over under for this, I would set it at like 51.5.
Yeah.
That's where I would have had it.
Yeah, I'm giving it 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I think both teams hover around the 26, give or take 5.
Yeah,
and that's kind of where I see it ending up.
I see this game, and I hope I'm right, as just an offensive showcase between Tom Brady and Julio Jones. If that happens, I mean, it'll be a great night. It'll be a great night.
It would be amazing. It would be absolutely amazing. And Julio Jones this is his coming out party. Right. He doesn't talk. He's the best receiver in the league, and no one talks about him.
Yeah.
And this is going to be cool.
Yeah. I'm excited for him. I mean, he's a good kid, and he's an incredible player.
Another thing I read in the last week, he didn't know who he was going to sign with on National Signing Day until that morning. He was the number 1 recruit in the country.
LeBron James did.
He had no idea. And did you see the recruit the other day, the linebacker, who took the T-shirts off?
Oh, that was the best trolling.
Of course you did. You're a Pac-12 guy. You're a Pac-12 guy. Of course you saw that.
I mean, the USC was a little ugly once he got to the lower. But I'm glad that it wasn't the opposite. Like USC and then takes it off for Alabama.
Yeah.
Because as much as I hate USC, no one deserves that.
Yeah, that's just not nice.
Yeah.
All right.
So speaking of over-unders.
Second hot take.
Speaking of over-unders. I'd set the over-under of words exchanged between Goodell and Brady. Should the Patriots win?
Yeah.
On the stage.
Yes.
I said it at 3 words, and I'm going under.
You said it at 3, and I'm
going under.
And you're going under. I think if they speak,
thanks.
I think if they speak. Now, are you? Now, I have a few questions about this.
Sure.
So, question number 1: Are we talking combination? If it's congrats,
congrats, total
Tom,
amount of words.
Congratulations, Tom. Thank you, Raj.
2 words. That's 4 words.
So that's over. Okay,
yeah, that's over.
That's tough.
Yeah.
So here's hard. But here's the real.
Listen, I told you, I'm committing. I'm going hard tonight.
There's no way though, right? Because if Goodell gets a handshake, which if they speak, there's a handshake, right?
Sure.
They're gonna shake hands. Rogers grabbing the hand and he's coming in. He's coming in. He's gonna talk. He's gonna say, great year, normal commissioner crap, but it's going to be, you guys had a great season, good for you. But
it'll be something as publicist.
I don't know if they talk at all, but the interesting one is
if there are 0
Goodell,
words, are you surprised?
No, because here's why.
Yeah.
Goodell hands the trophy to Kraft if they win.
True.
He doesn't hand the trophy to Brady or Belichick. He gives it to Kraft. Now, the Kraft over-under is interesting, but the fun one is, I think it's the following night, they would give it to him that night. He would give the MVP trophy to Brady.
Right.
That's the fun one.
And if they win, that's kind of a given.
Maybe. Well, he hasn't been every time.
That's true.
It wasn't.
Could end up being Gostkowski.
Well, who the hell was it? It was the receiver. Deion Branch, he was an MVP once.
Yes, he had a hell of a game. He deserved it.
He did. Know? But speaking of hell of a game, yes. Michael Irvin was on with Dan Patrick, and he was talking about Julio Jones and how good he is, and he was saying, watching the championship game, his record of 10 receptions and 192 yards is the best receiving numbers in a title game or in a championship game.
Right.
So he's watching, and Julio goes 9 for 180, and he's like, all right, cool, I'm out of this. And then he goes, and then this little dude, Chris Hogan, comes in here. He's getting 9 for 180. he was cracking me up. All right, third hot take.
My third hot take.
Your third hot take, because the over-under, I will go over for the record.
Go over. Okay.
I'm going to go over.
How over? Like, you think it'll be thanks.
I'm getting one sentence both ways.
Okay.
Minimum 3-word sentence.
Fair enough. All right. Are you ready for this one?
Yeah.
My third hot take.
Bring it.
This will be Tom Brady's last Super Bowl appearance.
I could not disagree with you anymore if I tried.
Yeah, that's shocking.
All right, go ahead.
I have to defend this?
Justify this. How dare you?
All right, so mentally,
yeah,
there's something to be said for chasing 5.
Okay.
And there's a lot to be said about having 5.
Okay.
Who's next? Who's closest after? Who's next? Eli? At 2?
Eli's at 2.
Roethlisberger's at 2.
Rodgers is at 1.
Yep. Who else?
That's yeah, that's it. Because that's it.
Cushy life.
Breeze
starts to sound a lot better.
Hey, Joe Flacco's got one. Watch out.
Yeah. And Kraft is has an itchy trigger finger. They'll send Tom to the Browns tomorrow if he shows any signs of not being productive for them anymore.
Colin Cowherd.
Colin
Cowherd is in my office right now trading Tom Brady here.
I'll tell you, West Coast is the best. Colin knows. Ask him. He knows.
Tom Brady is not going anywhere.
Okay.
The New England Patriots are a team that is run by the best head coach of all time.
True. That's true.
And Tom Brady is the best quarterback of all time.
That is true.
He is playing as well as he's ever played before.
Yep.
Next year, he's going to presumably have a healthy Rob Gronkowski back.
Assertions. Unfounded.
Right?
Unfounded. Assertions.
He's gonna have Rob Gronkowski back, maybe for a game, maybe for 16. Who knows? The point of it is
Rob Gronkowski ever there?
Let me ask you this question, because this is where you have to defend yourself.
Okay.
1 year from now, whether the mental aspect is there or not, and by the way, Tom Brady is Michael Jordan in terms of competitive anger. Like he has to win. Like he is that guy.
Yeah.
We know he's that guy. He doesn't act like that guy. He's got a Gucci sweater on. I don't know if Gucci makes sweaters. I don't know what Gucci makes. I just thought it was
Jordan
fancy.
rocked a mustache, so
whatever. That's true. That's true. But he's in Chicago. That's
that's
required.
Some people wear Uggs. Some people rock a mustache.
You have to rock. If you're in Chicago, it's okay.
That's right.
But no, Tom Brady has to win. Like that's how he is.
Okay.
Right. So 1 year from now, we're going into the AFC title game.
Yep.
The Patriots are going to be in that game. Is that fair? Like the New England Patriots are going to the AFC Championship game next year. First off, they're going to win. They're going to be the one seed.
They're going to be the best odds in the division. They're in the conference. Well,
for sure. They're going to win their division. They're probably going to be a bye week team at worst because of the division that they're in. They're probably going to be the one seed. So because you look around the AFC, Oakland. If Houston gets
Oakland's
a quarter, and then I'll give you 2 teams in the AFC that can compete with New England
and Steelers.
No, 3.
Okay,
There's
thank
3.
you.
Oakland, Pittsburgh,
so
and whichever Oakland, Pittsburgh, and whichever team out of Denver, Kansas City, or Houston gets Tony Romo are the only 3 teams in the AFC that can beat the Patriots next year.
How many assertions? Where do I start?
Baltimore could on an odd day.
Tony Romo.
Baltimore could on an odd day. But the Patriots are clearly the favorite in the AFC next year.
Sure.
So no matter what, your basis for your hot take is someone's going into Gillette Stadium and beating Tom Brady in an AFC Championship game because his mental thing isn't there.
My basis for this is that I think it's more likely than not that they don't represent the AFC because it's hard to go back to back. And last year, the Broncos, I think, took advantage of their, maybe you can call it distractions.
Sure.
But you're never as hungry when you are the defending champ as the people are to beat you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that factors in. I think if he goes 1 year without getting to the Super Bowl, and the Steelers are able to piece together more of an O-line,
Sure.
a D-line that can. Dude, Harrison has to stop eventually, right?
Yeah, you think that about Brady too,
gosh.
huh? You'd think that about Brady.
Okay, polar opposite ways of playing
Yeah, you're
the
right.
game of
You're
football.
right. James Harrison retired for a day.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so back to Brady, because here's my counterpoint.
Done. He's finished.
Here's my counterpoint to that.
Okay.
It is difficult to go back to back. The Patriots this year had the number one scoring defense in the league, and I think it's fair to say that it's a fairly young defense that should be getting better.
Sure.
As time moves forward, they have one of the top defensive coordinators in the league that people want to be their head coach.
No doubt.
That didn't take interviews.
The guy's a stud.
It's going to be a better defense next year than it was this year, probably.
Yep. Probably.
Okay. So you have that combined with the fact that you're trying to defend your championship.
Yep.
You're trying to get one more for Tom Brady. That's the factor. He's going to be 40 years old. If the Denver Broncos can win a Super Bowl with Peyton Manning's corpse,
Montana, F.U. Bradshaw.
Yeah, Denver won a Super Bowl with Peyton Manning's corpse on a string that was being run from the spider cam.
Weekend at Peyton's.
Yeah, weekend at Peyton's for 19 weeks last year.
Yeah.
And Tom Brady right now is the best quarterback in the league, not named Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, fine. If Tom Brady gets traded to a good upstart team with a nice defense, maybe he gets back.
Houston. Send him to Houston. It'll be
Send
good.
him Houston.
By the way, Houston would win the Super Bowl
Send him
this
to
year.
Denver.
Houston would win the Super Bowl with Tom Brady this year.
For sure.
100%.
For sure.
That was a Bill O'Brien, by the way.
Even if J.J. Watt was still injured as he is.
Yeah. I agree. Although he announced that he was ready for football activities. Did you see that? I thought that was hilarious. Everybody was like, "Oh, good. That means he'll be ready for training camp." I was the only one going, "That's because it's Super Bowl week." He said, "I'll be back for the Super Bowl if we make it." He had to announce that he was ready before the Super Bowl,
right? Because
he cannot ever be not talked about.
Yeah. He likes himself.
He loves himself some whatever JJ stands for. John Joseph.
He's a Jeremy. He's a Jeremy.
Oh boy, we're gonna have to settle this.
Where is he from? Is he from Wisconsin?
Yeah, he's from Wisconsin.
Yeah.
JJ Watt. What is JJ?
He's gonna be Joseph.
Oh, I should turn the internet back on my computer. How dare you?
Joseph.
I'm gonna go with James. I'm gonna go with James.
James.
Somebody knows this.
Well, there's two of them. There's two J's.
JJ Watt.
I'm going with Jeremy and Joseph.
JJ. Justin James.
Dang, you got the James though.
Yeah.
Justin.
I've heard that before. I just forgot.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, what was your next hot take?
My next hot take. Pull that out here for you. We can edit this, right?
No, we're just gonna leave it.
Yeah, we're just gonna leave it.
Leave it.
Whatever. All right.
Everybody just took a breath, like they shut up.
Come
All right,
on,
cool.
Dan. Put your password in, you idiot. Given either team's winning the Super Bowl, okay? Mm-hmm. Which players boycott the White House invite?
Okay.
For the Patriots. Nobody, right? Didn't they come out?
I will give you one name that is the only possibility.
On the Patriots?
Yes. Martellus Bennett.
Yeah.
Martellus Bennett is not going to the White House.
No.
No way.
He is very well spoken. Very well spoken.
And you know why? Because Martellus Bennett is a free agent.
Self-respecting man.
He is a free agent at the end of the year, and he's not going to be a Patriot next year.
Correct.
Unless they trade Gronkowski.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, that's your sneaky candidate, not Tom Brady to get moved because he's past his usefulness.
Oh, for sure. No, Gronkowski is a minor injury away from being unsellable.
How many Super Bowls have they gotten to without him?
A lot.
It keeps happening.
Yeah.
It keeps happening.
At least 5. Right?
Yeah. 5
right.
out of 7.
Yeah.
That sounds right. And they lost one of the 2 they were in with him. So
this is a fact.
Hey-oh, what up, Giants? Which, by the way, that's my secret motivation. So people asking me who I'm rooting for in this game, I don't care. I really don't care. And because if Atlanta wins, that's cool.
Yeah.
Matty Ice, Matt Ryan, that's cool. Dan Quinn seems like a solid fellow.
Sure.
Arthur Blank seems like a decent guy, aside from, he's had some shaky hires here and there.
Yeah.
And his dancing moves we were watching on ESPN are questionable at best. But Atlanta overall, okay.
Yeah.
New England, Tom Brady gets Tom and Bill Belichick, they get their fifth and 7.
Man.
That's crazy. But the secret motivation, Tom Brady would have had 7 Super Bowls if it weren't for Eli Manning.
Yeah.
That's the secret motivation.
Yeah.
I don't really
You
want...
almost have to hope they beat everybody else but the Giants.
I kind of feel that. I don't really want anyone else to do it. I just want the Giants to be the team that was like, you know what, the Giants, we might have missed the playoffs 8 out of the 10 years, but those 2, man.
Yeah.
Those 2.
Right. Wild card, Cinderella story.
Wild card runs. Beautiful. Yeah, the only time we were the 1 seed, I think we got bounced in the second game, and the Deshaun Jackson punt return.
Yeah.
Oh, I went down a road there from in my head.
Is it Folk? No, who was the punter?
Matt Dodge.
Get
out of my house.
Anyway.
The worst. All right. So what's your feelings on? I don't know. I don't know where any of these guys stand politically, so I can't really guess.
Yeah, neither do I. I just want to be topical. I think it's interesting that Belichick and Brady came out in support of Donald Trump before the election was decided. I thought that was respectable in its own way because who else has?
Yeah, I don't think they thought
didn't have a lot to lose.
I don't think they thought he could win though. I think Tom Brady's probably like, I probably shouldn't have had that. I probably shouldn't have had that hat.
Them and everybody else did.
Yeah. So I just thought about this.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe there's players that don't go. I assume there will be players that don't go. I mean, but that's happened before. Tim Thomas didn't go.
Right.
When, and there's been Brady. Did Brady not go?
Brady didn't go, and they turned it into like a race thing, and it turned out he had something else to do, but it was reschedulable.
But that wouldn't be.
It wouldn't be. Go to the store.
It's not going to be groundbreaking when people don't go. But here's the question, and the NBA is the easy pick here.
That's what I was going to say.
What if a team doesn't go?
Right.
I think that's going to happen. I think that's got to happen in the next 4 years.
Look at how the ESPYs started.
Dude, if Golden State wins the championship with the way Steve Kerr has been outspoken about this stuff, there's no way the Warriors are going to the White House.
No.
There's no chance.
No.
I mean, I don't care. They don't have to go.
No.
That doesn't bother me. Don't go. Right. I'd go, but just to go to the White House.
Yeah, sure.
Just to go to the White House. But, there's no. I think that's going to
be interesting. I think that's going to be interesting.
And the NBA, because more players are black in the NBA. Like that's just a fact.
How dare you?
And I mean, the NBA has more balls in as far as talking. I mean, you hear all the players talking about these things. Steve Kerr's outspoken about it. Toronto, was it DeRozan or Lowry?
Yeah,
called the band bullshit.
I think it was.
And he did it over and over. And they asked him. They said, "Can you do it without the swear?" Popovich is amazing.
Oh my gosh,
Popovich.
dude!
But
if you can't listen to that and get moved,
but you combine with how outspoken the NBA can be about this stuff and has been in the recent weeks, and the fact that there's only 13 of them.
Yeah,
you don't have to convince 75 people to not go to the White House. There's 20. If you include everybody that's going, there's 20 people, and if 12 of them say
the ball boy might go,
if 12 of them say we're not going because we don't like that guy, guess what? The other 8 people are going to go. Well, you know what? We love you, so we don't want to go either. And I think that's going to happen. I'd be surprised if it doesn't, to be honest. Yep. All right, what's next?
Last one. All right, your top 3 Super Bowl plays of the last 10 years. We'll keep it fairly recent.
Top 3 Super Bowl plays of the last 10 years. Now, are these plays that... Now, I have thought about this today.
Whatever subjective ranking system you use in your heart of hearts.
Okay. All right. Well, because heart of hearts, I can find 3 Giants plays. But as far as... I'm just going to go for... I'm trying to find a mix of like spectacular / timely, crazy. All right.
Top 3, man.
So bring your 3.
My top 3. Okay, so let's give our 3s.
Yeah.
My number 3 is Butler picking Wilson. Beautiful.
Okay.
Just the moment, what it meant to the outcome of the game, and who it was against. All those things. That's my personal tidbit in it.
Yeah.
But I mean, dude, Butler. Everyone was like, who? Was it Ninkovich? No, it wasn't Ninkovich. Who was that? That play was insane. And to end the game on that and to go right to a shot of Sherman crying.
Yeah. All right. My number 3, kind of out of left field, not a great Super Bowl. It's going to be a tie. I'm going to shoehorn 2 in because I want to give the love to the Super Bowl.
Recent?
It's in the last 10 years.
Yeah,
I want to shoehorn in 2 for this just because it's the same game and I don't want to waste 2 of my top 3 on the same game.
Do it.
I'm going to go with Sean Payton's onside kick and Tracy Porter's pick 6.
Yes.
That was a
dagger.
That was the Super Bowl dagger in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
That as far as just okay, this game's done. Like, we've had game-ending plays where the game's done, but that was Peyton Manning's got a chance to tie this game.
Everybody knew it. Peyton's face just
it
crashed through the floor.
That was a crazy play. I'll never forget that one.
Yep.
So, all right, so that's my 3.
Okay. My number 2, you'll appreciate. Tyree saves the day.
Okay.
I still can't believe how he made that catch.
Yep.
Unbelievable. And number 1.
Well, hold on. Number 2. I'm sorry. I'm just going to pause you for half a second
just to say you threw me.
Just to say I agree. Okay. Tyree's 2 for me as well.
All right, excellent.
So number 1.
Number 1 was Harrison's 100-yard pick 6.
Yep. It's crazy. It's crazy.
It's unbelievable.
It was crazy.
Yeah. Which works because Harrison is crazy. I think he is literally crazy.
My number 1 is right church, wrong pew with the same game. Santonio Holmes, the throw by Ben to win a Super Bowl. That was the best throw I've seen.
And best catch.
Yeah,
that was the best combo.
That was one of the craziest throw catches I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
And in that moment, to make that play like that, and by the way, Larry Fitzgerald's touchdown. Larry Fitzgerald's touchdown in that game.
I know. Man.
The late touchdown.
Your heart was broken.
By the way,
Cardinals started that season with the worst odds to win the Super Bowl before camps and all that kind of stuff.
The Leicester City before Leicester City.
Yeah. And some guy
soccer reference. Soccer.
They were terrible.
I just made a soccer reference. Yeah.
England went nuts. Literally, they went crazy. They're like, Americans, you need to understand. I'm like, we don't need to understand. Yeah, they were bad, and it was like Mighty Ducks. They're like, oh, you tossers.
Tossers.
That's what they say.
I like how you pronounced it though, tossers.
Yeah, you toss us.
So, all right. Honorable mentions because now I'm into Super Bowl play talk here.
Okay.
The Plaxico touchdown was my favorite play of all time, just because the Giants took the lead in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So that was my favorite. Do you have a favorite play? Not necessarily, best play ever, because I'm sure the Harrison play is not your favorite play ever.
No. My favorite Super Bowl play, I think just because I appreciated the hustle and just the, I don't even know how to describe it, but when Von Miller just absolutely destroyed the line, stripped Cam, grabbed the ball, he did everything.
He did
everything. And when a player just takes over a play like that, when somebody blocks, when LeBron blocks somebody from behind on one end and then grabs the ball in transition, passes it off, and you know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
He's going to sky, and it's going to be brilliant. It was one of those things for me. I think Von Miller is... I can't call him underappreciated or even underrated because he isn't. But Denver is a hard market. To be that guy.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Can I keep you for 10 more minutes?
10. You got me, man.
Little hoop.
Of course.
We got to talk a little hoop now.
Yeah. What is wrong with the Cavaliers?
Let's wrap up. Super Bowl prediction. Final score. Winning team. MVP.
I'm going to go Patriots 34. Falcons 31.
Patriots 34, Falcons 31.
Yep.
I have not thought about a pick yet until this second.
Okay.
Instinctually, I want to go with the Patriots.
Sure.
I think Atlanta's offense could actually win this game.
Oh, absolutely they could.
But I don't really... I say that and it sounds silly. You know what I mean? I don't know why, but I'm going to pick the Falcons. I'm going to go 31-27.
31-27. Okay.
I'm going to go 31-27 Falcons.
All right.
I think they have to score 30 to win, but I don't want it to go over your 65. So I'm going to go 30.
Yeah, and this game is not staying under 20 for both teams.
And by the way, I think that if the Falcons are going to win this game, they're going to win it on the last possession.
Oh, yeah.
Brady's going to have the Patriots ahead, and Matt Ryan's going to have to win the game.
Fair enough. And I would say just the exact opposite. But this I will say. And this is another hot take. This game will not end with a kneel.
Ooh.
This game will not end with a kneel.
There's got to be a prop bet on that somewhere.
There has to be.
Oh, there's got to be.
Probably for every game.
Yeah, I'm going to look that up. I'm going to look that up later.
Because that really almost sounds like a 50-50 proposition.
That's great.
Doesn't it?
That's a great one.
Yeah.
All right. So NBA.
Yes.
there's a couple things we got to do. We got to talk about LeBron and Charles Barkley and how LeBron wants more players on his team.
Yeah.
But first, real quick, and I don't know if you've been plugged in a lot watching any of it or just reading about it. Isaiah Thomas.
He's good.
Dude, it's ridiculous.
That guy can play basketball.
It is ridiculous.
Yeah. 5'9".
5'9".
I'm 6'2", and he it's embarrassing.
Yeah, we're you and I are about the same height.
Yeah.
And it's mind-boggling. Like last night I was like, I wonder what he did last 41. Oh, okay. 19 in the fourth. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
For sure. Of course he
Yeah.
did.
Right.
It's just ridiculous. All right, so LeBron wants Dan Gilbert to go get more players.
Yep.
Now, you are the LeBron guy.
Okay.
You are you love LeBron.
Oh, yeah,
like
definitely.
you're the LeBron guy.
Okay.
You're the
I'll take it. I'll
LeBron's
take
better
it.
than you're in the LeBron over Michael camp, so you have to be the LeBron guy.
There's a lot of people in that camp
There's
nowadays.
not a lot of people in
If
that
you look around, there are a lot of people in that camp nowadays.
There's
sir.
a lot more people in the other camp though. Jordan is still
Sure,
considered
but
the best
even
player of all
last
time.
year,
I
the
agree.
ratio.
I agree.
Anyway,
I agree. But you're the LeBron guy.
so-
Do you defend this or is this ridiculous?
Well, what's LeBron's ultimate purpose? What's his ultimate goal?
Win.
Win. But to win, he has to beat another team.
Sure.
What team does he have in mind? Do you think?
I would imagine Golden State.
I'd
Out on a limb.
probably
Out on a limb.
out on a limb.
Sure.
Right. What's outstanding? Maybe unique about the makeup of the Warriors team. If you had to guess,
I mean, spitballing?
yeah,
They might have 4 of the top 10 players in the league.
they might.
They
do.
might.
They do. LeBron is trying to do whatever he can to win a championship, and he sees them and that team as a problem in relation to his team and their capabilities, and I don't disagree with him.
I don't disagree with him either. I don't think that the Cleveland Cavaliers are built in the best possible way to beat Golden State. Here's the problem. LeBron didn't see this Golden State team coming together. No one saw Durant going there.
Right.
If he had seen that coming, J.R. Smith and Iman Shumpert and Tristan Thompson wouldn't be max players. Or Shumpert's not. Shumpert's not. But Thompson is.
Yeah,
And
Thompson
J.R.
is, and I
Smith
think he
is.
still would
and
be.
J.R. Smith is.
I
They're
think
both max players.
Thompson and LeBron are boys.
But that's
I
why
think-
he's a max player.
I know.
Tristan Thompson's...
And that's why he still would be, even if LeBron knew ahead of time.
Oh, I don't think so. If
Because
LeBron
I think
knew
LeBron knows
if LeBron
that
knew Durant,
he makes the trades. LeBron is making the trades anytime he deems fit.
yeah, I guess.
At least as far as suggesting who goes where and who he would like there.
Yeah.
And an effort will be made to make that happen. At least,
Well, obviously they announced. They actually were asked. I don't even know the GM's name in Cleveland because I consider LeBron to be the GM. But
Correct.
they asked him about it, about the Carmelo for K-Love trade when it was offered, and they were asked. They said, "Did you talk to LeBron?" They say, "Oh yeah, we went to LeBron and we discussed it with him and everything." And it was like second nature. Like, of course we talked to LeBron about the trade. Like, why wouldn't we talk to LeBron, who
I asked
controls
LeBron what
the city?
kind of Pop-Tart I should eat this morning. Are you kidding me?
And I made
LeBron
his for
okays
him.
everything.
And I made his for no.
Yeah, don't get it twisted.
I get it, but if LeBron knew that Durant was going to be in Golden State, the money allocation in Cleveland would be a lot different.
Sure,
It would
but you
have
also
to be.
have to remember
And
that
LeBron
all these
is in
deals
charge of
were
that
coming
team.
off of the ring. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So he was riding high on these guys,
Sure.
higher than maybe they deserved. But given their their performance, I think I thought it was deserved at the time. I think Thompson has a long career ahead of him. Producing good, solid numbers. He's a high energy player that just has a feel for the bounce of the ball. He's like Dennis Rodman.
Here's where I land on this whole thing. I agree that the team's not built perfectly to beat Golden State because Golden State's ridiculous. Like you have to build your team in order to be built to beat Golden State. You have to have a ridiculous team to beat Golden State. That's just what you have to have, or you have to have a ridiculous couple of players. And Cleveland has a ridiculous couple of players.
They sure do.
They do. Here's the interesting and the funny part, and kind of why I brought up J.R. Smith and Tristan Thompson. Mm-hmm. J.R. Smith in the finals is not going to have a role against Golden State as much as he's ever had before because Kyle Korver is a better shooter, and J.R. Smith has essentially been a shoot up or post up 3 against Golden State. That's all he's done when they've played.
Yeah.
So you're not going to see any J.R. Smith.
No.
Or very little.
Very little.
The interesting thing for me is I think Tristan Thompson is a huge role.
Yeah.
Against Golden State.
Dude, no more Bogut.
Yeah, no more Bogut. And he was great. He was great against them last year.
Bogut was?
No, Thompson.
Oh,
Thompson was phenomenal against Golden State in the finals.
Dude, Green was doing nothing.
And now it's going to be more open for him. I think Cleveland can beat Golden State the way they're built now. I really do.
I think so too.
I don't think it has to be.
No, but
it doesn't even have to be a
you
7.
also have the LeBron factor.
Yeah,
You have the LeBron factor.
He's the best player on the floor all the time.
Correct, and he turns Dellavedovas into the second best on any given night. That's the real magic. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, Pippen looked great all the time. Even when Michael Jordan left, he was a great player. You know what I'm saying? Kyrie looked great before LeBron got there. Dellavedova,
dude.
You know, I mean, he's serviceable, but he is not the Dellavedova of the 2014 or 15 finals.
For sure.
Night in and night out.
And depending on the night, Golden State does have 2 or 4 of the best 10 players in the league. But depending on the night, Cleveland might still have the best 2 players on the floor.
Sure.
Because Kyrie has those.
If Kyrie's on fire,
has those. Kyrie's better than LeBron some nights.
Good night.
He's better than everybody.
Yes.
He can be better than everybody.
Yes.
So LeBron's
I'm
being
gonna go this
to me, LeBron's being ridiculous. A little ridiculous. Not crazy because the theory is right. They should be. They should probably get more talent if they want to beat Golden State. They probably should.
Sure. They should get more talent if they want to beat more teams than they're beating right now.
You can't basically run the team and then be mad when the team that you pretty much built on your own isn't what you want. Because that's what he did. It's his guys that are there. It's not, he wanted Kevin Love on that team. Kevin Love's on that team. He's been a great addition to that team. He's found his role. It's all great. But, now you can't bring Smith and Thompson and Love and all these guys in and then say, why do you have these guys when I want that guy? That part gets me because
I don't know that he's saying that. I think that his argument is there are options for us to improve our team that are going to require Dan Gilbert to spend some money.
Yeah.
And he's not willing to budge because he believes that he's already gone that distance for LeBron and doesn't see why additional investment is going to pay off for him. He's a very stupid person. And
how dare you insult Dan Gilbert?
Yeah, the great Dan Gilbert, the great prognosticator.
You don't want to be a Dan and be an owner. I'm trying to think of a good one. Dan Snyder's no good.
Yeah, Cavaliers isn't racist though.
Dan Gilbert's no good.
Is it? Is Cavaliers racist? No, it's Pirates. No one gives a fuck about Pirates.
The Pittsburgh Pirates owners sure don't.
No, they don't.
Or their fans either.
They like the ballpark.
I still haven't gone. All right. What other... okay, so Carmelo. Let's talk about Carmelo.
All right.
There's a couple different landing spots for Carmelo.
Yep.
LA with the Clippers. Cleveland, which doesn't look like it's going to happen, but Cleveland did say they would trade for Carmelo Anthony, but Kevin Love won't be part of the deal. They said that.
Yeah.
So, and Boston is the interesting one for Carmelo.
If Melo went to Boston.
He approved it for his no trade.
Sure.
He approved Boston.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
Because they make you play defense. He doesn't want to go there.
How dare you? Yeah. As an NBA fan, what's your ideal Carmelo location? Aside from not on TV.
Yeah, and I can't choose to stay on the Knicks and just die there.
You could. He might choose that.
Yeah. I mean, Lala might choose that, and that might be the determining factor.
Well, they asked him about it yesterday. He said, I've got a 9-year-old kid in school. He's got friends. I might not want to get traded. I have a no-trade clause, so let's relax.
Yeah, one of 3 players. Him, LeBron, and do you know the third?
Do I know the third? I don't, but give me a hint.
Oh, man. See, you wouldn't think that they would want to trade him ever anyway. I mean, that could apply to a lot of players.
Kawhi?
No.
Dirk. Dirk. Of course.
Yeah.
Of course it's Dirk.
I mean, he is a Dallas treasure. He's not going anywhere.
He is. Well, that team stinks.
Thanks, Germany.
They
beat the Cavaliers.
Well, everybody beat the Cavaliers in
This is what's making
January.
LeBron a little jumpy.
They had a bad January. It was the worst month for him in like 8 years.
That was polite.
What?
They had a bad
Yeah,
January.
they had a shit January. They were
Yes.
awful.
Yes.
They were awful. They, by the way, I've been kind of bouncing around NBA games lately, trying to, get up to speed here, heading into more playoff push time.
Right.
I watched quite a bit of Knicks Nets.
Okay. Looked like it was a good game, right? Wasn't it close?
No, it was
2-point
close.
game?
It was 95-90.
Right.
It was bad.
Yeah.
It was real bad. The Knicks have this dude. I can't remember his name. It's like 9 syllables long. He went 16-16. I'd never heard of him before. It was,
Hey man, it's Jeremy Lin 2.0. Do your thing.
just this big white dude, 16-16. Crack me up.
What's next?
And by the way, the Nets. That's the saddest franchise.
Yeah.
That's and
In the entire NBA?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, the Clippers shed their sorrows.
Yeah, they did. Oh, they sure did.
Yeah,
but
they made their sorrows the Lakers' sorrows.
So the Nets are going to be lucky to win like 15 games, right? They're going to be last place in the league.
Literally lucky, like their last shot didn't go in.
They're going to literally be last place in the NBA.
Yep.
And Boston has their pick.
Yeah.
Boston's going to get the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
That's
Hey, unless the envelope is nicely frozen,
yeah.
Yeah.
Who you
They
go?
still have a lottery.
If you could rig the lottery, who would you give the pick to?
Oh man,
That's a good question. I'm happy with that.
Just because it would be funny to see a white guy go number 1, the Utah Jazz.
Are you implying that the Utah Jazz are racist?
No, I am implying that Gordon is white. And so was D. Will.
Are they going to
So
trade?
was D. Will, for the record.
Are they going to trade him? By the way,
I don't think so.
No,
I don't think so. He does very well in that market. Shocker.
he does.
He does.
I heard somebody suggest Rondo to the Cavs.
Oh man, I can't see that. I would hate to have to watch LeBron and Rondo pretend to get along.
Oh,
that'll blow up.
Oh no, I would love it. Oh. Dude, Rondo would have 28 assists a night.
Rondo would have to come to grips with the fact that he is Kyrie Irving minus 100. Like
He's Kyrie Irving without the ability to shoot. And his handles aren't as good. His handles aren't as good. His handles aren't as good. All right, he's just a lesser player, and I was wrong.
Yeah.
But that's the point.
Convince
but
him?
that's the
Are you going to
point.
convince
You need
Rondo
somebody
to come off the bench?
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
You have to. Well, he doesn't want to be in Chicago.
No,
you heard what he
was
was
Chicago
saying.
sounds like, except Jimmy.
No.
Good old Jimmy.
Well, no, Jimmy was the one that started it. Jimmy starts talking about, because Wade seems to not care, and Butler was calling him out, and then Rondo came. Dude, did you read Rondo's?
Wade was just doing the LeBron coming home thing, and it didn't work.
The the Rondo Instagram post was awesome. Did you see it?
Tell me about it.
So it was it was after one of the games, and it was Wade had said something in the locker room like, these kids, you got to work hard and this and that, and if they're not going to care, I'm not going to care about. I'm not going to care about them. So Rondo puts up a post, and it's the fucking picture is him and Garnett and Pierce, and it's I think the first 2 words were "my vets," and it was completely like it was perfect. It was talking about the leadership and Doc Rivers and how, my veterans were in the gym and my veterans were pushing people. And it was just, I was reading it and I had the same exact reaction that Bill Simmons tweeted right after this Instagram post comes out. Like,
he would.
Like 5 minutes later, he just wrote with like 50 O's at the end, just Rondo. And I felt the same way I was reading it. I was so happy.
Yeah. I mean, Wade needed to be put in his place.
Yeah.
You can't pout.
No. And that team was so firing Thibodeau.
Yeah.
Firing Thibodeau.
Oh man.
And
the Wolves are like, thanks. Thank you very much. I'll take that.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, bud.
All right, man.
We did a different Super Bowl preview show than other people.
Yeah, I think we did. It service.
That was solid. All right. At 4th and 1 Sports on Twitter. We'll have him back soon.
Later.
Dan Condie, see you, bud.
Peace.
All right. Big thank you to Dan Condie, as always. I love having that dude on the show. All right. Let's get into this. Stephanie, my sister, the social media coordinator of the show, who runs all our accounts, wanted to talk a little halftime entertainment. So I learned a few things here. Here we go.
The Calhoun Show.
All right, Stephanie's back.
Hi, everybody. What's going on?
We've heard that before. So you're here to teach me about the halftime show.
I am. I don't think you've ever seen a halftime show because that's the time when you're eating the food.
Yeah, eating the food or not watching the commercials. I'm really just a grouch with all the stuff that you like. But it was funny because they were talking about it on a podcast that I listened to the other day about the halftime show. And one of the guys was like, "Well, what was Super Bowl 36? Was that whoever?" And they just like named it. And I was like, "I didn't know that person ever did a halftime show. I know Janet Jackson did one."
If that's all you know, you're doing yourself a disservice.
I mean,
my friend.
like if you name them, I would get it. Like Katy Perry did one. I know that. But I just don't pay attention to this. So Lady Gaga this year, is she going to be good or terrible?
Actually, she's going to be great.
Okay.
And here's why. You may have noticed that your show's account tweeted a theory last night. And I thought it was a brilliant theory that your show put forth. And I'd like to dive into it. I don't know if you read that, but you did that.
I did see it. I don't know who runs the social media, but you seem to be keen to their work.
Well, bold hot take that the social media put forth this week was there's a direct correlation between the amount of guitars and the quality of a halftime show. So, for example, last year, the world's most upsetting gang fight / hippie commune, Coldplay, Bruno Mars, and Beyonce.
That sounds
was the
terrible.
World's worst halftime show.
That sounds awful.
It was truly offensive. Coldplay, if they literally threw rocks at my face while singing, couldn't be worse than what they are every day.
I've seen Cold. I don't think they'd hit you.
I don't think
From any measurable distance, you're going to be safe from the rocks.
Correct. So I may have done some research for this.
Was that a cold take? That a hot take about Coldplay?
It hurts. It hurts a little.
Not as much as the rocks would. Continue.
So, yes, there's a direct correlation between the amount of guitars in a halftime show and the quality of the halftime show. Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake, no guitars. Katy Perry, Left Shark, there was one guitar, Lenny Kravitz, pretty solid stuff. The Who in 2010, Pete Townshend's guitar. I mean,
I call bias first. First, I call bias.
If you think this isn't going to be biased, you're sorely mistaken. Because the amount of people I've seen in concert is a high number of people.
Do you remember that time that you were at that small jazz club in Washington?
Was that my last appearance on the show?
I think you did. Yeah, I think you told the story. Yeah.
Don't worry. I always listen to the episodes I'm on twice. The rest of them just once. My episode. Oof, I really shine.
I don't listen to any of them except for the ones you're on. I've re-listened to all those.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, of course.
But no. So the reason I think Lady Gaga is going to do well, there is a theory here behind it. This is my prediction. I realize you and Condie talked about sporty predictions, and I'm very, very impressed, and aren't you sporty? But I do think Lady Gaga will have a guest star. Almost every halftime show has a guest star of some kind, and I bet she'll bring out Queen.
The Adam Lambert version?
Yes, which we saw.
We did.
They're awesome.
Yeah, they were great. I wore the T-shirt that I got yesterday.
Nice work.
Yeah.
Brian May did guitar for her on one of her classic songs, not from the most recent album, but like back in the day a little bit. It was a Tuesday. And I bet she'll have Queen come out. That's my hot take. That's my prediction. That's my guess. But the more guitars in her performance, the better it will be. Because when there's guitars, it's a good show. There was a whole run from about 2005 to 2010 where they had rock bands or rock stars, like leading guitarist type people, and it was incredible. We're talking Petty and McCartney and Prince in the rain singing Purple Rain. I mean, I need a moment. It was incredible. Springsteen was in there. The Who was in there. Like, come on. That's quality stuff. That's good stuff. I
listened to every word of that and understood all of it. And in the end, all I've decided is I think I'm the least cultured podcast host alive, and I think we can brand the show that way. I think we could build the show around that from here on out.
I mean, we always need a secondary tagline, so I'm ready for that. Here's the thing. Here's what makes a good concert on TV, and you can understand this. You can wrap your head around it.
I do enjoy music. I'm not a cyborg.
You want to be able to enjoy it from your living room, but part of that is knowing that the audience is enjoying it, where the actual music is happening.
That's a huge part of it.
Exactly. And rock stars, they get that. I watched Tom Petty's set last night as part of my research because I'm a loser. And Tom Petty, he's not moving. He doesn't move. He's stationary. I don't know if you ever know this, by the way, but Tom Petty once broke his hand. It's a long story. I'll say some other time. So Tom Petty didn't move, and he just stood there. But everybody sang every word along, so it was so electric, the enthusiasm in the arena. I bet Lady Gaga will be able to get some of that if she covers a classic song with Queen.
I'm totally gonna watch it if Queen's a possibility.
I think they are, because they've gone on tour together and performed together occasionally. They didn't do a whole tour together, but they pop in and out of each other's tours. And Queen just announced that they're doing another tour this summer, like the one we saw a few years back. I think it is a great way to put some eyes on them right before they're starting to sell tickets.
I like this. I like it. All right, what's next in your research notes?
She's also going to make a statement. So sometimes there are statement pieces. Beyonce did a statement piece last year with her whole. Frankly, I'm really not qualified to talk about anything Beyonce does, so I'm just going to skip it so I don't offend anyone. I just know that I hate Beyonce.
Wow. So that went from let's not. That escalated really fast.
I could feel that coming apart at the seams.
I think you were like Captain Sullenberg. Like you were like, all right, we're just gonna put it in the river, and oh, look at that, we landed in the river. All right, let's sink it anyway.
So I hate her. I think Lady Gaga will make a statement. I don't know if you know this. We have a new president who's not considered widely popular.
Certainly not at the other end of this phone call.
I got locked inside my office building yesterday because of a bomb threat. I could do with a little less of that nonsense, please, for the record. Thank you. She's going to make a statement. She has a song called Born This Way, which is very pro everybody being themselves. And I am also very pro everybody doing their own thing and being themselves. However, that's not considered the conservative culture right now. So she's going to for sure make a statement, a message statement about that. So you can expect some of that. I didn't watch a ton of message halftime shows because they're dull. Beyonce did it last year, and The Who did a bit of it because The Who's always political, but they're old enough now that nobody notices they're being political anymore. But other than that, most people don't do messages at the halftime show. They know it's beer fans and girls who didn't pay attention during the first half.
Who is your ideal halftime performer?
Actually, I realized we've had some incredible ones already. The Stones did it. The Who did it. Prince did it. Lady Gaga is the closest to my ideal human being doing a concert in front of a bunch of beer-drinking football men that I'm ever going to get because my ideal guy left us last year.
Oh, yes. David Bowie. Yes.
Correct. Lady Gaga is not dissimilar to David Bowie, actually, in any sense. They're quite similar. So if you can't have a rock star every year, if McCartney can't do it every year, if Billy Joel, by the way, hasn't done a halftime show, do we know why?
Yeah, because he's booked at Madison Square Garden.
Forever. In perpetuity.
Billy, so can you work the halftime show this year? I'm still booked through 2048. I can't do anything until 2048. I'll be 100. I'll be 170 years old when I'm available, but
done one. Aerosmith did one.
He was
I don't know if you remember it.
He was supposed to do it, but he ran everybody over on the way to the meeting.
Oh, dark. Very bleak. Oh, no. You may be right. You may be crazy. Don't be such an angry young man.
Billy Joel, not a great guy. Billy Joel, not a great guy.
He didn't start the fire. It's fine. I could literally do Billy Joel quotes forever. Aerosmith did it the year of the Ravens-Giants Super Bowl, I think it was, 2000. That was the one.
Didn't they pop up in somebody else's too recently?
Yeah, in Britney's. Yeah, exactly.
Wait, when did Britney do it? Oh, she did it with Timberlake too.
Exactly.
Oh, I remember that. I saw a video of that one recently. Okay.
Yeah. So
that was good. That one was good, by the way.
It was good. I actually quite remember that one. Aerosmith's a classic. I think you need to do somebody who everybody in the arena will know their songs. I think that's crucial. I don't think Katy Perry is the right audience for this. I don't understand why. Lady Gaga's not necessarily the right audience unless she brings out a classic rock act and everybody gets to sing along. Because otherwise, no one enjoys it.
And they're in Houston.
Yeah, that's the other thing. We're in Houston. So you could always do a country music star, but they really don't often do that at all.
You know,
which is a weird choice.
I had an idea for somebody that they could get. I thought 3 Doors Down would be.
Oh my God. I'm not going to say anything, but I'm going to say that 0 people went to the 3 Doors Down concert in my city. So, what a hot pile of garbage that was.
3 Doors Down turned out to be kryptonite. That was great.
Lady Gaga's a really good singer, and don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Do you remember she did the national anthem last year?
Of course not.
Okay.
Of course, I don't remember that.
At the moment where you could have lied and you took the high road.
I'm doing that less. Doing that less.
Anyways, here's the moral of the story. None of the people who listen to your podcast are going to watch the halftime show except me.
That's not
Maybe
true.
Sarah.
That's not true. The show's best friend is going to watch.
The show's best friend is
Did you enjoy that I named one of your college friends the show's best friend?
I love it. I also like that she called me out on the Wimbledon thing yesterday.
Oh, that's right. So, all right. So this is something that's now been pushed back 4 weeks because I keep forgetting about it. But I'm glad you brought it up, so we can now use it to set up for next week. So, sports bucket list.
Yeah.
Things that you want to attend. Now, you did go to Wimbledon. So, what happened for you?
I went on the 4th of July, the year that the show's best friend and I and 8 other people lived in London. And we went to Wimbledon on the 4th of July. And I don't know if you know tennis, but I didn't. And I was like, cool, sporting event. Oh, where we get to wear hats. How nice. And I was prepared to go to a sporting event and cheer on the team. And do you know the one thing you're not allowed to do at tennis?
Yeah, you can't cheer.
You're not supposed to make any goddamn noise. But you know the only thing you do all day is drink alcohol and eat strawberries and then sit silently.
In the sun.
In the sun. Do you know, while dressed up, by the way, and I'm an American in England on the 4th of July.
So I'll take that point with a counterpoint. Taking into all consideration, you and I went to a Giants-Panthers game like a year and a half ago. And we drank all morning. I drank more, and then sat in the sun and yelled and drank more. And how would I do at Wimbledon?
You wouldn't be let in. I mean, they would just walk your ass right out of there. I got to see the Williams sisters, so that was cool and everything.
You got a tennis ball from one of them, did you not?
What's the point?
Didn't you get a tennis ball from one of them?
Yeah, I did, actually. I got Danny some stuff, and I saw a lot of people practicing, and Andy Roddick, and, it was very cool, but, why watch a sport when you have to be quiet? It's literally the most British thing in the world. But don't let the sports best friend lie to you, because she was not a soccer fan when we lived in London. So talk about wasted opportunities.
That's okay. Dan, I made a soccer reference earlier in the podcast, so
Nice.
we're on Sarah's good terms today.
Excellent.
So sports bucket list. Stephanie's going to be yelling at you guys on the old interwebs, but we have a couple of them, Stephanie, that we can get to.
Absolutely.
All right, so our good pal Brett Zanardi is actually at one this weekend, the Waste Management Open, formerly FBR, in Scottsdale, Arizona. Tournament features the famous 16th hole par 3. That's the stadium hole. Have you ever seen the stadium hole, Steph?
No, this was totally new to me. I had never heard of this before.
All right, so yeah, you basically, it's a normal golf course, except they built a ridiculous amount of seating around one par 3.
Okay.
And it's the 16th hole, so it's coming down the stretch toward the end. And there was Tiger had a hole in one there. It was like one of the best golf moments of all time. So
okay.
it's a ridiculous place. So Brett was telling us that they're taking a party bus to a golf event, which is.
Now, are you allowed to cheer at that?
At golf? Oh yeah. Well, not.
Okay.
I mean, you've watched golf on TV. They cheer after they swing. And
Have I? Or is golf on TV just something one walks by because it's on in the room?
That's possible.
Okay, just checking.
That's possible. And my first choice for a bucket list thing was I wanted to see the New Zealand All Blacks, the rugby team.
Yes, because we watched those videos, and they are badass. I'll post one to the Facebook page right after this comes out, so you guys can see it as well. I do want to know what everybody else's is, because I was really surprised. We did a poll on Twitter and got a lot of feedback, and it's not totally what I expected. More people said the Olympics than I expected. Nobody said the World Cup, I don't think. I was surprised.
The World Cup would be up there for me. The problem with the World Cup is everything is so spread out that you're not really seeing everything.
Correct. It's not like one final event. And I suppose if you know your team's in it, that's a whole different thing. Because a Cubs fan, their answer just changed. So I guess it's different.
Yeah. So the final on our poll was Olympics took 46%, 23% Super Bowl, 23% were people sending in other stuff, and then Game 7 World Series got no love. Kyle McGowan sent in NBA Finals Game 7. That would be up there for me as well.
Ugh.
Stanley Cup Game 7, any Game 7,
people.
Stanley Cup Game 7 would be the best, but aside from that.
And then you've got all the bean pot people, and we know them, and we know they listen, and, like, that's their weird little hockey thing, and they're adorable with it. Nobody said racing. Nobody said any kind of racing or anything like that. So it's just very interesting. I want to know what we're missing. That's why I'm going to keep asking you guys sports bucket list moments, because what is an event or maybe a team that you desperately want to see, or a person? Tiger. Kevin just mentioned Tiger. Like, is Tiger somebody you want to see? We didn't get to go see Old Yankee Stadium. That would have been on my list, but we missed out the chance. Oh well, c'est la vie. I mean, it's very interesting. And this suggestion, best friend of the show, she suggested a few weeks ago, and we'll dive into it more and more as the weeks go on. We get more feedback.
Yeah, I mean, we're still a few months away from the really nasty time, but football ends on Sunday, so we're going to be looking for stuff.
Well, you've got the Puppy Bowl. So
how dare I?
I'm pretty excited for your feedback on the Puppy Bowl.
I'm going to break it down. I'm going to break it down fully. That's people come here for analysis, and that's what I'm going to give them.
That's what I've always been hoping for. Listen, my final hot take predictions for the Super Bowl are this. 1, I might watch it. Maybe. 2, Lady Gaga's going to piss off conservative political people. 3, the national anthem will be a country singer, so I have no predictions there whatsoever. 4, they're involving Hamilton by having the girls from Hamilton sing God Bless America, and therefore all things are good in this universe. And 5, I hope Tom Brady falls over his own shoes. The end.
Well, that's not very nice.
Well, may he fall on his face.
All right, so I'm going to leave Stephanie with this quick text message read from something I got the other day. This was from my sister. It said, and the social media bucket list stuff fits nicely in. Do you want me to put up a post asking for any Pats or Chiefs fans to call the show? so
I want to know what the Chiefs think.
So I text.
Not the Falcons. I'm not interested in their opinion. The Chiefs.
So I said, why would we want the Chiefs fans? No offense to any Chiefs fans, but and she said, are they not in this game?
I'm pretty sure you didn't hire me to know about the sport.
No, I did not plan to do that, but when you said I might watch the game, I was like, of course she's gonna watch. Oh shit, she didn't even know who's in it. Never mind, she might not.
I will say I enjoy sports as much as the next gal without being a pink hat, but I only care when my teams are involved. I don't pretend to care about the sport for the sake of the sport. I am not an Aristotelian lover of sports. I don't enjoy sports for their own sake.
All right, so I know how you feel about guys like Tom Brady or Derek Jeter. You don't like either of them. I'm gonna give you the argument that I gave to Dan earlier, which I'm kind of, I don't care who wins. I'm not rooting against either team, and here's why. Here's why you should not root against the Patriots, because if you are anything, you are a Red Sox fan, but you are also a Giants fan.
Yeah.
And as a Giants fan, it's kind of cool to say the Patriots could have won 7, but Eli.
Correct.
That's pretty fun. And you are the number one Eli fan, so you're more Peyton, but Eli too.
Here's the thing.
Yep.
If Tom Brady loses at the next family dinner, he has to look at his brother-in-law in the face. I know his brother-in-law is just better than he is as winning goes.
That's bold.
Yep.
That's bold.
And if you guys don't know who his brother-in-law is, please look it up. We're not even going to tell you. It's such a delicious little fun fact. It's so aggressively New England. It's just a delight.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know what?
Look it up.
Yeah, we're just gonna leave it. We're gonna leave it right there.
Ooh,
all right.
Ooh, the mystery.
All right.
All right.
Depending on what happens, we may need, even if it's just a voicemail, a halftime review. Actually, you know what? I want it to be a voicemail, and I want it to be 2 minutes after the halftime show.
I promise you, I will do that. And my request to your listeners is to go watch the Prince from 2007 halftime show in the rain, because it was baller.
2007 Super Bowl getting some love. I don't even remember.
I have written notes for this.
Are you sure that was? No, I don't think you're right. Is that 2007?
My written notes will now be appearing on the Calhoun Show's Twitter page.
Are you right? Hold on. Wait. Hold on, because the Giants won the Super Bowl on February 3rd, 2008. So would that have been? Hey, Sam. Hold on. Now you have the dogs barking at me. So.
Okay. Well, first of all, one of them doesn't bark.
That's true, but they're growling at me now. All right. You know what? I'll trust you on this. I'll trust you on this.
All right. Well, tell the listeners to be good. Be good, listeners.
Be good listeners. That's the weirdest sign off ever. Thank you, sister.
Bye, brother.
Later. All right. So thank you, Stephanie, for coming on. As always, teach me things about halftime. I'm so uncultured, guys. I have no idea what's going on. People mention songs to me and artists, and I never understand. Sometimes I'm in on a TV show that's popular, but usually I miss out. I don't know. I'll get it together at some point. But thank you to Dan and Stephanie for coming on today, which is hilarious because that's my siblings' names, and only half of them were my siblings. So, but we had Danny on a couple weeks ago, so we're good. Thank you to everybody, and the show's been growing in numbers, and that's thanks to you guys retweeting things and recommending the show to your friends, and it goes a long way, and it's helping, and we're making moves, and got a bunch of stuff going on that we will fill you in on in the coming weeks as they unfold. So very excited. Enjoy the Super Bowl, and use Uber or Lyft or whatever you got. Don't be stupid. Be safe out there, guys. All right. Be good. Have a good weekend. And if you're a Patriots fan or a Falcons fan, good luck. Everybody else, enjoy it. For the sake of the Giants, kind of go Patriots. I'll regret saying that someday. See ya.
listening to The Calhoun Show. Join the conversation by following the show on Twitter @Calhoun Show and emailing the show at calhounshow@gmail.com. You can also find us on Facebook, and don't forget to subscribe and download for free on iTunes. Want to hear yourself on the show? Leave us a voicemail by calling 860-740-2119.